more radio stations such that at least the public can get to know the impact of being vaccinated. What comes out if you are vaccinated? What are the dangers if you are not vaccinated? However, some people feel that they are not obliged to be vaccinated. They feel that they should use their natural means to survive. But as you also aware that in the last periods of 2 years, it's the first time whereby almost every Ugandan became a doctor. When you go to the villages, people can tell you, for you are talking about COVID-X, you are talking about this vaccination what, but someone has an alternative.
Everybody knew what to tell.
The Baganda say, you find them getting a lot of leaves.
Actually, everybody was an expert. We didn't leave it for a chain alone.
But during that time, we lost some of our colleagues, like I had a comrade she was sick of sickle cell, but then when the relatives suspected that she might have contracted COVID-19, they brought those herbs and she started steaming herself. In the end, they found out when she died, when she was steaming.
She died in steam.
She died while steaming. So
it's not a laughing matter, though.
So it is because Uganda is a funny country. These steamings could have been alternatives. If we have the capacity to be vaccinated, then why do you fear? In case you fear, maybe at least you try to look for some doctors whom you trust, because not every doctor is trusted, not every vaccine is trusted. But at least you try to look for something better. But if as a country, as doctors, qualified doctors, as qualified professionals, you look at Uganda and steaming themselves using different types of herbs, and then you know some of them are dangerous. People don't know how to administer them. Some are over-administered, and they say when fat on Zika. It's very funny. Like the other day, why Ugandans are very funny. The other day I found the people fighting for meat of a cow which died of unknown disease.
Where? In Nakasone?
In my district. So the owner decided to throw it away. But because, I don't know, is it because of poverty? I don't understand. I found people fighting. The owner threw it away because he was suspecting maybe the cow died of poison or whatever. So these villagers came and started fighting. I tried to advise them.
You can't lose all this.
Please, can't you at least forego that meat and imagine that the dead cow is not there. They told me when to Zika, you just go and do all the things. They started enjoying that. Uganda is a very funny country. So the experts must be there. The doctors, medical experts might be there and they try to advise the public. But when you advise the public, which is somehow wild, because they think that every institution is completely damaged in terms of decision making. Like I have been reading in some papers where doctors buy fake drugs. They purchase fake drugs for a country and they are left scot-free. They are not in prison. So that's why you see every Ugandan is doing as he or she wishes.
Okay. Well, Lutamagozi Semakola is a member of parliament for Nakaseke South.
Yeah, and the vice chairperson, local government public accounts committee.
And the vice chairperson, the local government public accounts committee. And I think that's very important. Now, Lutamagozi, we cannot overemphasize the disruptions, the impact, the ramifications that COVID-19 has actually brought to us for the past 2 years, 2021 and 2020 years. 2020, 2021 have actually been very tough years for us, struggling and staggering with virtually everything. On the 31st, His Excellency the President spoke to the nation. He gave us his end of year message like he normally does, but this time round it was of course punctuated with the way forward for COVID-19, how to manage that, and of course to see that we reopen the country starting this month. Now, 2 weeks after students report to school, everything gets back to normal and we get back to that routine, what are some of your projections or your takes from the present speech and the way forward, 2021 now, having come from 2020, 2021 COVID now in 2022 here where we are?
Yes, the president can make the speeches, but the speeches are supposed to be practical in nature. What he says should be looked into by means of practice. Like for example, you can open the schools, but what about the teachers? What about the parents? What about every Ugandan? You can open the economy, but is it practically open? You can make a statement that I've opened the economy, it is now open, but is it practically open? Because we still have so many gaps, especially which were created by the pandemic. I come from the village. I'm very happy to call myself a villager. Sometime back, wherever I could call someone a villager could do. Erupt into a fight, but I am happy to call myself a villager. Sometimes when I'm traversing the constituents, I always see people and I try to listen to what they are saying. Almost every Ugandan is becoming poorer. It's not by choice, but the circumstances are not favorable. If a farmer, you try to grow, look for the market is not there. Reason, pandemic. The other day, I was among the few MPs who went and opened up the new Uganda Airlines. But sometimes I always see it like it's like a child. It jumps, it sits down, it falls, it stands, falls, stands. So like that. So if you, everywhere you go, teachers are complaining. Like the other day, I saw some bit of suggestion that private school teachers will be given 100K when they report back to school, but what can 100K buy? It cannot even buy 5 kilograms of meat in my village. So we are trying to find how we can survive, but we politicians have to sit down, because the politician is not supposed to lament. You are supposed to be part of the problem-solving machinery. Like for example, I had given some suggestion that before we open schools, we have to look into the pockets of the school's owners. Are they doing well? Banks are taking over their buildings. But what about the teachers, especially private school teachers, whom we have neglected totally for almost 2.5 years? Private school teachers are part of us. You may choose not to study in a government school, not because it is bad, but because you may go to a nearest private school because it's the one closer to you. So we should look into private school teachers, government teachers, the owners of schools. What about children?
Was this a time to open the economy, according to the president, or you think we should have opened a little earlier, or shouldn't even have opened now?
No, it's okay. Opening is okay. But opening should be accompanied with some actions.
That's what we need to know. What should we do? Because we now open,
we have to look into different segmentations. Like now everyone is talking about schools. What have you done for schools? Especially those which have loans in banks. The other day I saw a certain slip, is it from Gayaza High, where parents are supposed to pay the school loan. Then you ask if when the school went for that loan, did you consult the parent?
But in the same way, but in the same way, that's what you talk about, Lutamaguzi. If I'm the school owner and I came to your bank and picked a loan,
no.
It is a loan that I picked. I didn't consult you.
No, you didn't consult me. So what you should do, we as members of parliament, we as government, we as structures of government, we have to sit down and find a lasting solution. It's forcing a parent, because you remember, not every parent has been working during the pandemic. You, the owner of the school, have not been working. Remember, even this parent might have been not also working. The parent might so what also. The government should do, since government does not fail, is to call all the schools which have loans in banks. And you talk to the central bank to look into these loans such that they can postpone the payments. Like you can give them a grace period of 2-3 years. It does not affect us.
To compensate for the 2 years
you
lost.
compensate the 2 years you've lost. That doesn't mean that they will not pay, but the grace period you give to them, it's workable. Rather than pushing everything to the parent. You who pushes everything to the parent, you should know that the same situation in which you are can be the same situation the parents are in. So don't expect that like for you people, wherever you see us members of parliament going anywhere, the first thing in your mind, MPs are rich. They are rich.
Because
and
you're the only ones in the country who suggest your salaries. None of us here suggest our salaries. The rest of us
if I may ask you, since you're my brother, young brother, if I may ask you, how many arcades are owned by MPs? Arcades in Kampala owned by MPs.
You may not have arcades, but you may be putting your money somewhere.
It is created by certain people that MPs have money. Let me tell you, my dear, even some MPs who join the parliament when they are rich, they have lost their properties.
Why?
Can I mention like 4?
Why?
Because politics of Uganda is somehow funny. Some people think that there is some kind of cash in it. No,
nobody wants to run out of that fund.
It's not getting out of the fund. Being in parliament is like being a fisherman. You can see your brother's boat capsizing, but that doesn't stop you from fishing because it is your call. So you want all of us to run away and leave parliament to farmers? It is our call. So since it is our duty, we should sit down and find ways. What I'm appealing to His Excellency, the President of Uganda, Mr. Tubuhabura Museveni, please, let those schools who are forcing parents to pay those loans, let them not pay those loans. They are not the ones who went and contracted those loans. Those loans are contracted by the school owners, private. It is a private matter. It is not anywhere you can bring in parents. Otherwise, even the government, where we members of parliament, because at times we try to help you, but it beats my understanding when I hear people abusing MPs every time. Those pigs MPs say so. What? So it would have been the right time for us as parliament to sit and find lasting solutions between parents, teachers, and owners of schools. Not just bringing it as a matter of national importance. One MP talks in my school in Kasamombe.
Isn't that what would be the best, actually? You bring it as a matter of national importance
no,
on the floor of parliament.
A matter of national importance is not given a big time in parliament. It is just given a small time, like 4 minutes, then the minister has to come and respond. This is a very important matter which needs to be discussed. And the discussions we take should be listened to by the ministers who are in charge. That is if they are also in charge, because they are ministers who are in charge. You say minister, you ask him, are you in charge? He say, you see, but why
don't they resign? Why don't they give up their positions?
It is the same thing you said to parliament, that why don't they resign?
No, but I would tell those to say,
if everyone was resigning, then how many people would you be having in such positions?
No, we rather not have than have somebody who does not do anything.
Politics, whichever challenge that comes by, you have to find solutions. In fact, we are like these early people, the explorers, the Mungo Park. The more they would find the problems, the challenges, the more they could do, try to find how they can overgo such kind of challenges. Uganda is some kind of funny country whereby every institution seems not to be independent. But we have we have commissioners in Ministry of Education. You can hardly hear of them making education statements, moving up and there, they all leave it. Minister Tanampa Buyiza, then you look at the minister, then is somehow trying to show you that is in a position, but there are certain people.
Same as members of parliament.
When you come to parliament, where I sit, I tell you.
You do the same thing.
For me, I talk to you, I don't know what will happen because parliament is about talking. like there are certain institutions in Africa, I would say in East Africa, which are very funny. Like, for example, in committees, we may arrest some thieves. In our committees, you arrest a thief and you say that person should go to prison. But within some years, they say, you just talk, you will do nothing. And the thief comes in the committee very confident, knowing that you cannot do anything.
Yeah,
but in a country which has a serious parliament like in Ghana, they say if we have arrested you, you are supposed to be in prison. But you go in the committees like where I sit.
Yeah, because
like where I sit, they say parliament is just, it recommends.
But Mr. Lutamaguzi, we've also heard that there are thieves on these same committees. So if one thief Semakula comes and is facing a committee of fellow thieves,
a parliament is not a collection of angels. Even angels at times made mistakes. That's why you saw.
So you're qualifying.
There are certain angels which are sent away from heaven to come here on earth. A parliament is not a collection of angels. A parliament is a collection of people who resemble you. Because I've been telling people that each constituency has its representative who resembles them. If you have an MP who wants money, then you get to know that his constituents are full of liking money so much. If you have an MP who is ever not stable, then you get to know that voters are not stable. So a parliament is a reflection of the true picture of Ugandans.
Okay. Well,
so if you have a parliament which does not have powers in decision making, it just depends on a matter and remains on paper and you clap your hands. Then you get to know that even the society is not empowered, because if you voted Rutamaguzi, you sent him to parliament to represent you. Any matter that debate is supposed to be taken seriously and acted upon immediately. But look at us when we go there. You discuss a certain matter, then you wait for the minister. Someday they tell you now the front desk is totally empty. Then the speaker makes these ministers, I don't know what they are looking for. Do you see the what? The front seats are empty. In a country which is serious, the voters are serious, Uganda, and where citizens are accountable to every leadership. They say, who are those ministers who are always absent? Why are they eating our money? Why are they taking our allowances? But here you find that the speaker is also trying to appeal to, please, ministers, can you please come and attend? But even if you don't attend...
Now we have a problem with the parliament. Because in parliament, it's normally aired live on UBC.
Why do you take every problem to be created by parliament? What about you, the people?
That's what I'm saying.
Are you vigilant?
Are
you assertive of what you are supposed to receive? You get a minister, he comes there, he's a minister of agriculture, the president appointed him, he gave him power, he gave him trust, he gave him everything. But you have never seen a minister of agriculture articulating issues related to prices of produces in the villages, relating to diseases affecting cows, crops, relating to what you only see a minister in a brush, you call them these big pajeros, you call them posh pajeros. With an escort. And at times, if a minister is a woman, he can also direct his escort, who is a policeman, to hold her bags when she's moving in parliament. So those are the categories of people you have. But in a serious country, I've visited several countries in Africa. Like the other day I was in South Africa, I took time, and I also visited their parliament in Cape Town. But they said, if for us, when we're minister here, we don't even have time to ask the president for roads. Why should I ask the president for roads when the minister in charge of roads is here? We put all the pressure to that minister and ask him, have you ever gone to Nakaseka? Have you ever gone to... Because you are put in that token to ensure that you represent the president. True. Where the president is not there, where parliament is not there, where LC5 is not there, you are supposed to take a leading example, and you sample the quality of roads which are being constructed, you sample what. But here when you call the Minister of Roads, what he can do to say, but you know what? We don't have money. Yes, we don't have money. What about the one which is there? Have you looked at the quality of roads which are being constructed? Then you say, but there is someone who's always putting pressure on me and gives you a lot of excuses. So that's where...
You're making a very important point, Mr. Lutamaguzi. But I also want to show you the deficiencies that we have in our leadership. The Honorable John Baptist Nambeshe, when he was still a member
our
of
government chief whip,
the
other government chief whip,
when he was still on the committee that was headed by, I think, the Honorable Byaruhanga, the Committee on Natural Resources, the committee that went to Luera at that time. I hosted him on TV here, and he told me they went to a cement factory in Mokona, I think.
I know, yeah, I know that cement
and he
factory.
says, we went as members of parliament, the committee of members of parliament, and when we got to this cement factory, none of us knew what we had actually gone for. Now, it's a committee, and this is Honorable Nambeshe saying that. We didn't know what we went for, and actually when we went to the cement industry, we took tea, we took some water, we hugged, we chatted, we laughed, we high-fived each other. Then we went. One, none of us actually has the capacity to tell how much cement is in the cement itself. And so it was just a casual visit.
No.
Now, it's one thing to demand from the Minister of Natural Resources, for example. But it's also another thing to have a committee of members of parliament, 20, 30 of you go, and none of you know
I told you, let me say this in Uganda, what I told you. Abuli mubaka wa parliament gola bafana na abantu babamulonda. When you see parliament, parliament is a reflection of Uganda's society. Parliament is a mirror of
So the
Uganda.
society does not know.
So even the society doesn't know. These MPs, you are the ones who elect them. And not every MP is elected. First, listen
so we
to
need
me.
to feel the problem
First,
of electing people who don't know.
Yes, until when voters stop asking for cheap things, petty things to vote someone. Vote someone just because of belonging to a certain political party. And you vote people value. And you vote people are supposed to be action-oriented. It's not about knowing English in Parliament. No, it's about someone who's very serious, because we have had people in Parliament who speak English in we could say it in tongues, in ears. The English passes through the ears, it passes through the nose. There are a lot of English, but when you go to areas they represent, you almost cry. Like the other day, I phoned my brother, the vice president, the former vice president, Sekandi, in Masaka, but I told you I've been moving in Kabale, Mbarara, whatever, under the leadership of local government.
The local
I asked him, but you have been a vice president for
10 years.
10 years. You've been a speaker of parliament for 10 years. You've been a deputy speaker of parliament for 10 years. You're also lamenting that you don't have tarmac roads in your area. You want the president to come and start organizing for you. A vice president, you're also lamenting like an LC1 chairperson. I am always very open. I told him, I'm very sorry, I can't discuss with a person of your caliber. Because if I do so, I'm talking to a former vice president, a man who is almost 8 years plus, a man who did the law, a man who can talk English in the nose, in the ears, and everyone who thinks that whenever, how much, the much English you talk is related to the kind of reasoning you have. I said, I can't discuss. I'd rather discuss with an LC chairperson who's action-oriented, who knows what he wants. Whether you are from NRM, whether you are from DP, whether from UNUP, we are building a better Uganda. And a better Uganda is not about political parties. It's not about the institutions you are in. It's about the caliber of people who represent you in such positions.
Mr. Lutamaguzi, Honorable.
Did you know that? Did you know that we have so many educated people in parliament? Professors. We have so many professors in parliament. But when you ask them that, you professor, what have you added to the society where you come from? They will start telling you that, you know, this government is totally bad. You know, they don't do what. You say, like for me, I come from Nakaseke. There is a time, you know me, there is a time a certain person from the opposition, sometime back, wanted to visit my area for demonstration. I said, you are coming to demonstrate during the rainy season. Demonstration for what? Political demonstrations? What is it going to add?
Demonstration.
You remember those times of demonstrations? Then these people said, oh, yeah, good day. oyagudde okugana okugenda okwekalakasa. No, we should find everything has its own timing. When it is time for the political demonstrations, use all your energy to demonstrate. But when it is time to work, use all your energies to work. That's why you see Nakaseke is totally different. For me, when I talk, sometimes they used to call Nakaseke make of NRM. I called these NRM people. I told them that for me, what I advise my people is stop lamenting. If someone has not paid you in 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, 25 years, 30 years, 40 years, and then they hear you demanding of being paid after 40 years, when people look at you, they may think that you're a fool. So what you do, you forego what went wrong, and you build afresh. You know this area which was bombed by Americans, the Japanese area, which was Hiroshima, Nagasaki, and the other Nagasaki. You go to Nagasaki, which was bombed completely with nothing left on the ground, and you come to Kampala, an area which has never been bombed at all, and you compare. What they did, they accepted that these people have bombed us, but they have not bombed our knowledge. Let's start afresh. Today, every Ugandan wants to run to Japan and stays there, doesn't want to come back. So until when we sit down, it does not need you to be of a certain political party, or whether you are in government or in government. Anyone can start wherever is. Anyone can add anything of value to the society. As long as you, the leader, you of value. We have so many leaders who have not of value. But like for example, I told you, the former vice president, I was very open when I went there. I told him, my colleague, you're being a member of parliament, being what? You're a very big person in Uganda here, but you are not of value. Why? You have been in power for 30 years. In fact, you have been hobnobbing to the big chair. You know hobnobbing to the big chair?
But he's also asking
when you are number 2, that means that sometimes you also become a president when the president is out. That is if we can give you.
He was also asking for a road.
A road. Vetamaka road.
We'll take a break. We'll take a break and return, then come back and continue the conversation with you.
But that is our Uganda, my brother.
Member of Parliament from Nakaseke South. We'll come back shortly.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda Extra. It's the 2021 Total Energies Africa Cup of Nations. Live, free, and exclusive to your public broadcaster. UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Back to school, back to school, back to school today.
The global COVID-19 pandemic led the nation to 2 years of unprecedented learning, disruptions, and closures. Now it is the time when the country is getting focused on upcoming school reopening. This is not a time for despair. This is a time to deepen community engagement for safer schools reopening. Rural Broadcasters Owners Association (RUBA), in partnership with Ministry of Education, Uganda Broadcasting Corporation, World of Bingwa, Teacher Talk Magazine, and Stanbic Bank will engage parents, learners, teachers, school operators through an inclusive National Safe Back to School Symposium. The National SB2S Symposium is a countrywide 3 days of deliberation hosted at UBC and aired simultaneously via radio stations and televisions from Monday 3rd January to Wednesday 5th January 2022 from 11 a.m. to midday. The speakers will include the Minister from Education, Youth and Child Affairs, leaders of teachers' unions, school proprietors, parents, and private sector. The speakers will be supported by media personalities to convey messages in different languages, as well as igniting conversations customized to geographical and social reach. Do not miss. Let's discuss safe school reopening.
It's the festive season and we love it. And that means it's time to celebrate with GoTV.
Come with me.
So get your GoCoder and GoTV value for 25,000 shillings to watch with the whole family. And if you're feeling extra festive, upgrade to our best package yet, GoTV Super.
Something to look forward to.
Download the My GoTV app for more information.
Super.
We all deserve a super festive season. And with GoTV, there's every reason to love it.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda Extra.
Welcome back from the break. We continue with our Good Morning Uganda Extra. My name is Jagenda Semakola Ziksoka in this year 2021 with the Honorable Paulson Kasana Lutamaguzi, Member of Parliament representing the people of Nakaseke South. In this 11th Parliament, Honorable Lutamaguzi, Parliament is, you will
so
be
I
ending
was telling you before you asked that question, that if you leave everything to the institution of president, president, everything president, you a minister, what are you doing for us? You a minister, what are you doing for us? Everything you leave to the president, these borders, we go to the president, this what Africa, you go to the president. That's why, for me, when I went back to my village in Nakaseke, I told them, you elected me as your member of parliament. There are certain things which I'm supposed to ask from government. And there are certain things which I'm supposed to advise you and show you how you can do them. Like, for example, you know, Bulungi Wansi, these community roads. You find someone even is waiting for the government to go and help them to clean a community well. No, that cannot work. You find some ministers, they are just their ministers as being ministers. Like when I went to Ghana, I asked them that, do people make parties here when someone is appointed to be a minister? They say, no, they can't. But here in Uganda, people make parties that minister. Minister. And when you go to the village where that minister comes, all the sub-county, you find that even there is nothing there.
The only thing they have is their house.
Their house. So that's why I told you that as much as you are in government, you know, even if you ask for service delivery from the same government we are serving, it's not a crime. Oli musajja weenaale mugwe mwami sekandi, vice president, MP, speaker parliament, nekuba erikutwala ewuwo n'olisaba wali eringa oli mu cabinet. Because sometimes vice president agichairinga cabinet. N'agamba nti you are the minister of works, njagala chorus. Awo Museveni akukyawa nti no lwaki ompalana?
Is that Kuarana?
No, anti kati gwe oli vice president ova mu kitundu kyewamwe n'osaba oli weenaale. Mr. Museveni is your president wa number 2. No saba in the same government a government yagala service. No saba oluguudo lwa kolansi. Museveni akugamba nti lwaki wasabe oluguudo lwa kolansi.
No, of course.
Era kye nagamba eri ewaffe nti mutunuulire mu Museveni baatwadde. The only thing I will ever blame Mr. Museveni in Rural Triangle is the number of ministers we have had as people from Rural Triangle. We have the biggest number in bigger positions of government, but you go and see where they come from.
You want to blame,
so do I need to
blame the president for that?
No, I wanted no. At some time when he went for the trek, you remember the great trek, passed via Nakaseke Mukati.
I was in the trek.
But they saw everything in terrible state, no clean water, roads are bad, schools
and you're blaming the president for that? What did you say? The only thing that
for
you
me,
ever blame the president?
For me, the only thing I will never blame the president. Never blame the president.
Okay. He's given you ministers.
He has given us all the ministers. Let me mention them. Because there are so many big people who are watching me, depending on my WhatsApp here. We had the Minister Naduri. We had the Chisamba Mugerwa. We had the Minister Saida Bumba. We had the Minister Chidu Makubuya. We had the Victoria Mwaka. We had the Minister Chinobe. We had the Minister Namayanja. We had the Minister Byandala. In fact, I'm talking about this Chilwero Triangle. Chilwero Triangle, where Nakaseke, where everything is terrible. We had the Minister Muingo. We had the Chisamba, all those ministers.
Very good ministers.
Very good ministers in very big positions, but you go and see the areas where they come from. Do I need to blame Mr. Museveni for that? He said no for me. He did like a Pilato did. Pilato washed his hands and said, "Me have washed my hands. Everything let it follow you and your children. But I've done what I've done." So He gave us ministers, but were they of value?
They were good ministers.
Can they show anything? You call it a trek omukuluro. Omukuluro. What do you call it? You
Trail.
people talk
Trail. Trail.
Can they show any trail from the areas where they come from that I was a minister of works, but I did such and such roads? The only thing you hear of them talking tugenze karamoja ne tukola ya makubo, tugenze wane tukola ya makubo, but areas where they come from, they are NRM. When you sit in the cabinet, you first present priorities of the area where you come from, especially those who hail from Well Triangle. So do I need to blame Mr. Museveni for that? Having failed did well.
He's done his bit.
No, I look at the quality of ministers you have had, and imagine those ministers were being elected by the same people. When the time of campaign comes, they only give out 5,000 per voter, 5,000 kwate nkumitano. Some are given a small bottle of soda, wakonyeka soda, cakes. I remember Honorable Saida Bumba used to give her voters a small cake and a small bottle of soda. Mzee agavude, and the people could clap. You look at the quality of voters and the quality of leadership. If you have very poor quality of voters, you get very poor quality of leadership. That's why Luwelo is looking at the way it's looking.
Not because President Museveni has not thought about it,
but it's part of them.
The leader.
He gave them. He said he did like a Pilato did. He washed his hands and said, "But what the who come from you?" But if they didn't do anything there, and you look at the way Luwelo is, very poor roads, very dirty water. We share water with the animals. The hospitals like Semuto, you know Semuto, you know Bukatira, you know Nakaseke. The other day I was quarreling with my brother Katumba Omala, I think he's watching us. That is a minister of roads, but of which Nakasek is not part of his ministry.
I just told you, he was here on Thursday before Christmas, and he gave us a list of the roads, and your roads are a part of that. If you don't know, I actually know, because the Honorable Minister was in studios here, and he actually said it live on TV here.
They are always there.
Abaganda have a saying that says, Entamwe ulira gusooka.
Entamwe ulira gusooka.
But let me complete my statement.
Entamwe ulira gusooka, depending on what food you are cooking.
Okay. Now,
if you are cooking rice tawulira gusooka.
Okay.
If you are cooking macaroni tawulira gusooka. So, but if you are cooking matoke or lumonde, that one ulira gusooka.
So depending on the food that is being prepared in Parliament,
yeah.
Depending on what is actually happening in Parliament, you have, I think, just a quarter to go. By May this year, you will be celebrating the first year, and somewhere in June, of course, that will be. You've had half a session in there, and we're thinking, how much is there that Parliament can actually promise us that if you're still here until 2026, then we will have these very good things from you?
No, you have a saying which is related to the current situation in Uganda. That saying, entamwe ulira gusooka, I don't know who can translate it in English. Entamwe ulira, because we have some people who don't know Uganda. That the saucepan, it does what? Who can translate it in English? I've told you that entamwe ulira gusooka, depending on the type of food you are cooking. Not every food ewulira gusooka. Si buli mmere nti ewulira gusooka. There is a food which you can cook any time, whether the fire is much or low, it can. Whether fire started with a lot of pressure or not, it can like macaroni or muchere. But there is food which you are supposed to cook seriously, like rumonde. Once you don't cook it seriously. In the beginning, they will say mere konye. Even if you add in a lot of fire in between, they say mere konye.
If Parliament was a kitchen, or if Parliament was a saucepan, what food would you be cooking in that saucepan called Parliament?
You see, Parliament is some kind of institution which is actually tasked to solve almost every problem. I see everything in Uganda being tasked to Parliament. Parliament tuyamba education. Parliament tuyamba aba boda. Parliament tuyamba aba taxi. Parliament tuyamba ebirime byaffe byafire no mukyalo emusana enkuba teyatonyo omusana ugamba what can Parliament help you when it doesn't rain. So You have given Parliament a lot of tasks. As we members of Parliament, there are certain things you are supposed to do in the beginning. Like, for example, if I see an ordinary man suffering during the pandemic, and I sit and we amend the NSSF bill, and ensure that at least let me amend this bill quickly such that the savers can access their money, because these are unprecedented days. No one thought that there will be a disease called the corona to come and affect everything. I pass the NSSF bill. It becomes into the law. What an ordinary Ugandan is waiting for is the accessibility of the money. Like the other day, I was very happy because I'm part of the finance committee that has been working on that NSSF bill. I left the other day. Not every law that is signed works immediately. Uganda is a funny country which has very good laws, but when it comes to the implementation, they make you to move a lot of hurdles until when you give up or you continue. Like this NSSF, there is what we call the instruments of powers, which are being drafted by Minister of Gender. Have you seen them? They will put a lot of hurdles such that you say, just that's like they have been doing. Because the other day I asked the Minister of Finance, that deep in your heart, do you think Ugandans are going to access their money they saved involuntarily? He said, no, if we use this money, the economy is going to become worse. The other day again, we invited the person in charge of NSSF, Mr. Byarugaba. We asked him this question is evading. We want to know the level of liquidity in NSSF. We will never tell you.
And your parliament? Yes,
we are parliament, but do you think everyone respects parliament? Like it is said that some some animals are what? All animals are equal, but some are more equal
than others. Why do you think you're not respected as members of parliament?
No.
Is it because of who you are?
No, I'm asking what can I do to Byarugaba in case he doesn't show me the level? No, I'm here as a parliament. What can I do?
Don't you have anything to do?
No. What can I do? Is it the first? Yes. What can I do? What can you show me? Any leader in Uganda who was ever punished by parliament? Just one.
Have you tried punishing them?
No. Yes, they are there. People who took billions of money who come to committees and they working scot-free. No, I was asking you that if we ask Mr. Byarugaba, the one of NSSF, that please want to know the level of liquidity, because we shall depend on that level of liquidity or liquidity ratio to know how much is going to be given to every saver. He didn't come back. He didn't come back. Do I save with NSSF? You people who save with NSSF, why don't you put up pressure?
Do you save with NSSF?
No, I don't.
Why don't
but I'm fighting for you.
Why don't you save with NSSF?
I don't know. I found when it is already a creation of parliament that we members of parliament.
Okay. Yours goes to the parliamentary.
Don't think that every animal that eats from the lake sleeps in the lake.
So you eat from the lake, but
there are some animals who eat from the lake, but they don't sleep there. But you can't ask why is it that this animal eats from the lake, works from the lake, but doesn't sleep in the lake. That is the natural arrangement that some animals will be eating, doing everything in the lake, but they will be sleeping in the bushes.
So that's the parliament that we
have. Yeah, that's Uganda. I found when they already created that parliament is supposed to have a separate entity. But being that I come from a poor background, being a representative of people, always ask questions: will people ever access their NSSF money? All these politics all the time.
The law was assented to by the president. And now
there is a difference between the law being assented to and people accessing their money.
Exactly.
Yes.
But one leads to the other. Now that the law is assented to, we will definitely see people accessing their monies.
No, don't say definitely. Don't say definitely. I've told you.
What needs to be done again?
Those who have instruments of power, the gender who are given powers, are going to put up hurdles. Remember, these same people pass behind the doors
Of Parliament?
Of Parliament and tell the what of gender that please we access, the bill has been assented to, but there is no money. So try to put up very many hurdles such that among the 1,000 people, not even one can get that money until when they die. That's the politics of Uganda. And the Ugandans are not aware that when you put a lot of pressure to those who are in charge of your funds, you can get it. You are waiting for Parliament. Parliament, for us, we did what we are supposed to do, and we washed our hands that we gave you everything, but we don't save with NSSF. It is incumbent on you to see that to put up pressure to those who are in charge of your funds. And you ask for the liquidity ratio, which is there. They always tell you that we invested 95% is in investments. That's what those guys will tell you. But then when you tell me, yes, 95 is in investments, what about the liquidity which is there? Will we access it? Like the other day, I saw some educated man being excited that they are going to access 20%. Who told you that you are going to access 20%?
The law that you debated. It is the law that says.
First listen.
It is the law that says.
It is between 0 and 20. It is not a guarantee 20.
Yeah, but whichever.
So if you go there and ask for 20, someone may tell you that you are going to get 1%. Because it is between 0 and 20. It's not a guarantee 20. But the other educated man thought that you will just go, it's a guarantee. And demand for 20.
We have only 3 minutes, and in just one more minute, finally, your final remarks as we get out of studios.
Yeah, I'm just appealing to Ugandans that we need to work hard.
In this
country belongs to all of us. When you are in Uganda, you are Ugandan. Even if you were Murunda, as long as you are in Uganda, this is your country. Even if you were Munyarwanda and you are in Uganda, this is your country. Even if you were Munyankole, you were Muganda, you were Musoga, you were Muchori, we are all supposed to work for better Uganda. Whether you are minister, you're supposed to ensure that the community you represent as a minister is doing well. We have had some funny ministers of agriculture, I would call them funny, because of the way they operate. Where are the impacts of the ministers of agriculture? We have the DC junior ministers and the senior ministers. But when you go to the ground, Uganda is an agricultural country. But where is your input? Do you also have to lament and say the president like these other entities? Because not until when you wake up and you stop putting everything to the president, and you work in that docket where you are appointed to serve Ugandans, nothing can move on. We have Corona now. I understand every Ugandan is not doing well financially, apart from a few. Especially when I talk about the few, I'm not talking about those who have worked hard. During the Corona, it's only thieves who are doing well. The thieves have done very well during Corona times, and these people who create these funeral homes, those funeral homes, there are thousands of companies which are created to bury people during the Corona times. Those benefited, and the thieves.
They benefited from burying our people.
Yes, there are several companies, funeral companies which are created. But Ugandans should ensure that at least if you have something in your pockets, you help your neighbor. That kind of brotherhood, the spirit of brotherhood, is the one that can build this country. Regardless of your political affiliations, we can have different religious backgrounds, different political affiliations, different thinkings, but we shall remain as Ugandans. If you find a better road can be used by everyone. If you have better health services can be used by everyone. Especially you people who come from Nakaseke, this is your time to work hard. Mr. Museveni, you have seen what is happening to the Ruel Triangle, Kapeka, Semut Hospital, Nakaseke Hospital, the nature of roads we have in Nakaseke. Your comrades who are supposed to be compensated, war comrades, their man has been eaten by a smaller cocoon of people. They have been hoodwinked. So it is high time we should think as Ugandans and work for better Uganda. I am a leader. Tomorrow you are the next. I'm not going to die as a member of parliament. Neither are all those people in those leadership positions going to die as leaders. You serve and go. It's a cycle. So what have you done in that period when you were a leader? Okay. That's what I've told my people of Nakaseke. Lastly, not in less than a minute, we have a bigger challenge of land grabbers in this country. Please, the poor also have a right to own Bibanja. And there are so many rich people in Kampala have made it a habit that the poor are not supposed to own their Bibanja.
There are people who grab Bibanja.
They are there.
There are land grabbers who are Bibanja owners. There are Bibanja people who are also grabbers.
They are there, just as I told you that not everything is well everywhere.
Okay.
Even in heaven.
Because there are people who also come to grab from others, and Bibanja people. Besenza never wamba.
Besenza naye it is not a guarantee nti byali ku kibanja nti aba yesenza. I'm talking nze boboyogerako sibe njogerako. Nze njogerako kubalana sebo kujjako ngo byekubulamu. Sebo ne yanziza nnyo. If you are from Nakaseke and your land is being grabbed, this is my number. We have so many people who come from Kampala, especially those who have got free money. They think that the poor are not supposed to own their Bibanja. They come with the police and whatever. We shall deal with them. This is my number. This is for only the people of Nakaseke who are having land problems. My number is 0757 694754. 07557 nkaga mumwenda ana musanvu atano munya.
Thank you very much, Ruta Maguzi Semakula. Two questions here, but of course we can't have time for them. One said, yeah, is the road to Bokatira not a district road? That was a question for you. We'll answer it next time. The road to Bokatira, isn't it a district road that is supposed to be done by
it is under UNRA.
Okay, then NSSF is in the business competing with other entities. You want their liquidity published in order to achieve what? For God and my country? We can
you listen to such kind of person.
Good morning.
You listen to that kind of person.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda.